as in the Sacramento Kings.
Oh yeah, then go beat them.
We're live, same league. So sorry for the interruption. We had to go off a little bit, but welcome back. If you just tune in, this So sorry for that short interruption, but welcome back to our live show. This is Sunday Sports Roundup. I'm here with Kofi Asiedu, and before we went off, we're looking at Ansu Fati and the injury situation and all of that. And I was running by you the various league results that took place over the weekend. Kofi, you were giving us a little take on Jamal Murray and his injury situation.
I was giving us a little take on Jamal Murray. The fact that you do not have to look far. You'd have to look at an alpha male athletic personality like Jamal Murray, tears his ACL, sits out of basketball for more than a year to get himself healed. You understand? You can look at people like Klay Thompson. There are lots of them. I mean, even the great Kobe Bryant. You understand?
So even in football, Ronaldo went off for 2 years.
Yes, I mean, so
between 2000 and 2002, he comes back, goes to the World Cup, blows everybody out
with that magical haircut,
samurai kind of haircut.
So I think that sometimes it's good that you listen to the advice of the medical team. Yes, as much as you'd want to be playing a lot more, as much as you'd want to see progress, there's nothing like functioning on an optimal body, and I think that that's what the young man needs to understand and appreciate. I mean, his career took off with a storm. It looks like he's just dwindling and dwindling and dwindling and dwindling, and it doesn't really look good from this point.
So I'm hoping that when the season ends, Ansu Fati can get the time to sort out his injury situation. But let me wrap up with the games that took place today, Sunday. So in the English Premier League, Man City continue to do what they've been doing, even though it was a very difficult game. They went all the way to Craven Cottage to beat Fulham by 2-1. Manchester United pipped Aston Villa by the odd goal in one. Napoli and Salernitana, these Italian teams and the kind of names they put up. Napoli could have wrapped up the league today, and the fans would have been in, joyous mood, but they decided to hold on to probably next week because Napoli have already won the league. Bayern Munich beat Hertha Berlin by 2-0. Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspur by 4-3 in the English Premier League. Other results in the English Premier League: Bournemouth seem to be on some wild renaissance. They beat Leeds United by 4-1. Newcastle also came back from behind to beat Southampton by 3-1. In the Spanish La Liga, Cadiz beat Valencia by 2-1. Villarreal beat Celta Vigo by 3-1. Espanyol overcame Getafe by the odd goal in one. Real Valladolid and Atletico Madrid are currently playing just 19 minutes into the game. It's 0-0. In the Italian Serie A, Inter Milan beat Lazio by 3-1. Camoranesi and Hellas Verona settled for the 1-1 draw. Like I told you earlier on, Napoli and Salernitana also settled for a 1-1 draw. Sassuolo pipped Empoli by 2-1. Fiorentina recorded the biggest results in the Italian Serie A as they beat Sampdoria 5-0. Juventus are currently taking on Bologna away in Bologna, and they are down by a goal to 0. Let me run by you as it stands the league table in the Italian Serie A. Like we said, Napoli have already won the league. They have 79 points with 46 goals. Lazio follows suit with 61 points. Juventus have 59 points. Inter Milan have 57. AC Milan have 57. Roma have 57. Atalanta have 55. Listen, it's not in the Italian Serie A. The fun is not about who is winning the league, but who are making the top 4 as we speak. Let me again run by you the standings. So Napoli have already won the league with 79 points. Now, Lazio, who are second, have just 61 points. They are just 2 points ahead of Juventus, who have 59. Inter have 57. Milan have 57. Roma have 57. Atalanta have 55. So Atalanta could qualify for the Champions League. Roma could qualify. Inter Milan could qualify. AC Milan could qualify. Juventus could qualify. Lazio could qualify. Apart from the first position, from the second to the sixth position, it's not decided yet. So in the Italian Serie A, right now, every single game matters for those who are battling for that top 4 slot. Let's look at the Spanish La Liga, and it's also interesting. Some believe that Barca would automatically win. So Barca have 79 points. Real Madrid follows suit with 68 points, 11-point difference. They both won 4-0 yesterday. Atletico Madrid are in third with 64 points. Real Sociedad are fourth with 58 points. It looks like the top 4 is settled in the La Liga, but if anybody has a say in the top 4 race, it will be Villarreal, who are really pushing to make the top 4 with 53 points. Let me take you to the German Bundesliga, and it's also getting interesting because the battle is between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. This week, Bayern Munich would usurp Borussia Dortmund. The following week, Borussia Dortmund will usurp Bayern Munich. It's more or less like a game of chess there. So as we speak, Bayern Munich are on top of the table with 62 points. Borussia Dortmund followed closely with 61 points. Union Berlin 56 points. Freiburg 56 points. RB Leipzig 54 points. So the battle for the top 4 is also getting interesting. For the top 2, I think is already settled, but it's between Union Berlin, Freiburg, and Leipzig. Finally, before we get into our discussion segment, let me run by you the league table, which most of you know by now.
Well,
in
I
the English
think
Premier
that
League.
just a quick one. I think that the German league, they need to look at refereeing, because I feel that on Friday when Bochum played against Dortmund, there was some dodgy refereeing decisions. I mean, especially that penalty call on Adeyemi. And the referee today has come out to apologize, and he says that he feels very sick about the decision that he took. It was glaring. I mean, there are 2 clear penalty decisions, and to think that the referee did not even call for a review, or the people who are manning the VAR did not even call for a review, that made it more sickening. Because if you look at the margins, that is operating between Bayern and Dortmund. If hypothetically Dortmund had won that game, they would have had a 1-point cushion over Bayern at this material time. And with 5 games to go, I think that this is very crucial. Those kind of refereeing decisions could go a long way to tell which way the title swings.
I think as much as we want to, berate the referees and all of that, let's cut them some slack. They are humans.
No, you can't cut them slack.
For him to actually have come out and apologize for the decision, like I always say, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you are tempted to take certain decisions. From hindsight, you look back and you go like, wow, did I really take this
No,
decision?
but
So
that's why
in those moments, I think
that's
that,
why.
and for him, he's come out to apologize.
That's
Yes,
fine.
it's
That's
true.
fine.
Yeah.
But that's why the VAR was
But
introduced.
that's what I'm saying. In the heat of the moment, fine, it's true. These fine margins could go a long way at the end of the season to determine who wins the league, because it's very, very close. You cannot afford to drop points any day of the week when you have a game, because as a result of their dropping point, Bayern winning means Bayern go top of the league
By
table.
point.
Yes, if they had won, they would have been on top of the league table. So these fine margins go ahead to influence the game on a larger scale. But the guy has come out to apologize.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you've cost people the glory.
It
doesn't
cost people
matter.
some
I mean,
money.
yeah.
Right now, this is
Oh
cost
yes,
money.
I mean yes. Obviously, some money was lost on Friday.
Exactly.
I
Some
mean,
I'm sure people,
I saw a particular tweet which sought to curse the whole management of Dortmund, the players, the fans, all because they lost some money. Yes.
Okay, so in the English Premier League, that's where it's getting interesting. I'm gradually,
Bracing yourself.
psychology will say, you need to begin to, psych yourself up to accept the reality that I might lose my hair in a couple of weeks' time, because I actually put my neck on the table for Arsenal, that Arsenal would win the league. And if Arsenal lose the league, my guys in the studio, Kofi, Percy, and whoever is here,
No, Kofi.
they can shave my hair.
Kofi.
But Arsenal, anyway, let's see what happens. It's 5 games to go. Very, very interested.
It's done.
The Manchester
done.
City.
It's done.
Somebody says the landlords are back. So
It's done.
Manchester City are on top of the league table with 76 points. Arsenal follows suit with 75 points. Let's not forget, City have a game in hand. Newcastle follow Arsenal with 65 points. United are 4th, also with a game in hand with 63 points. Liverpool are 5th now with 56 points. Some people still believe, some Liverpool fans still believe that they can make the top 4. But I look at the heat Newcastle have picked, and I look at the form. United may not be so much in explosive form as they were at the start of the season, but I do not think that they will take their foot off the pedal at this particular
Well,
moment.
United have an 8-point advantage over Liverpool with still a game in hand.
And I do not
Liverpool
think
fans must be
I do
dreaming
not
to think
they should
they'll
accept.
make they won't make the top
They should
4.
accept
They will-
that they would play in the Europa League.
Yes.
They should accept the fact that
Yes.
they'll play in the Europa League. So, Kofi, that's the league standing. And guys, these are the league standings across Europe. But let's get into the conversation. So, as we speak, it's just a matter of time. Chelsea announced the appointment of Mauricio Pochettino. Chelsea have been, dilly-dallying with the appointment of manager since the sacking of Graham Potter. They tried it with the assistant coach. They tried to see what they can do. They've brought in Frank Lampard. I checked the record of Frank Lampard, and it's crazy. In the last 19 games that Frank Lampard has played, he's won just once, drawn twice, and lost 16. This is a manager you want to give a job for as a caretaker manager. But that's not what we are looking at. Mauricio Pochettino, if it happens, which will happen, so let me use the word, when it happens, will this be the best decision Todd Bowley and his entire team taken since they took over from Chelsea? Guys, we are looking at the appointment of, do you think Mauricio Pochettino is the man to turn around the fortunes of Chelsea after spending almost 600 million pounds this season on players alone? Almost 600 million pounds. The most any team has ever done in a season. Do you think that Mauricio Pochettino is the man to turn around the fortunes of Chelsea? Engage with us in the comment section. Kofi.
Well, I think that as much as I do not like Graham Potter, I do not like Chelsea, I do not like Frank Lampard, I cannot blame them for all of the nonsense happening at Chelsea right now.
Maybe the only person you can blame is maybe Lampard. You are in the job now. Get the job done.
Well, I don't think Lampard was appointed for footballing reasons.
No, just to calm the nerves
Exactly.
and
Lampard
to please the
wasn't
fans and all of
appointed
that.
for football reasons. It must be put on record because the guy he's better off in another profession.
Someone said, a little bit of an aside, someone actually said that gradually the more or less like the hero nature of Lampard at Chelsea is gradually being eroded by the result as a manager. And
I don't believe
if care is not taken, when the name Lampard is mentioned at Chelsea, most of these new school guys would only see Lampard as the manager.
I doubt.
Because listen, he's not the subject of discussion.
However you look at it, Lampard will always be a cult figure at Chelsea. The things he did for Chelsea and with Chelsea, incredible.
But then the things you are doing to them.
You need to separate the man as a player and the man as a coach. I mean, I think that's where the separation comes in. Listen, even what's the name of that great Liverpool player?
Steven Gerrard?
Not Steven Gerrard. Kenny Dalglish. I mean, great player, great manager, but he did not have it all going in his way in all of his 10 years at Liverpool. So you would have to not put.
Let's look at the Mauricio Pochettino appointment.
Well, yesterday in the press conference of Jurgen Klopp, I'm happy he mentioned something we kept mentioning on this show, that he's happy the results are not going in favor of Chelsea, invariably. Invariably. Yeah. He mentioned the fact that you cannot create two dressing rooms. Yeah. So it tells you that insider information, you cannot buy team spirit. You cannot buy chemistry. You understand? And that is where I think the owners of Chelsea got it wrong from the off. So as much as you want to blame Graham Potter and all of the things that happened under his reign, listen, I mean, the approach, and I was one of the people who felt that the approach from day one was going to be chaotic and was going to be impossible for any manager to survive in that sort of dressing room.
What did he do actually? What did Todd Bowley do? Yes, he fired, Thomas Tuchel. That's dead and gone. I fired him.
Yeah.
I bring you on board with a lot of trust. And if for anything, Graham Potter is one of the managers that was backed by Todd Bowley when everybody said, sack this man. But he kept faith in. What did he do wrong?
No, but backed by him in which regard?
By sticking faith with him.
You see, the Graham Potter scenario in Chelsea is almost like the whole Akwisapia appointment in the Black Stars.
Yeah.
We virtually gave you a job.
Yeah.
Set you up for failure, and then you became the guy who was mopping up all of our deficiencies.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with Graham Potter in Chelsea. Listen, Todd Bowley, yes, kept faith with him, but at the end of the day, he did not create the fundamentals that were needed for every manager to thrive.
And what fundamentals are they?
Listen, you do not work with a squad of 26 plus players. That's enough. And we're not talking about 26 plus any other players. We are talking about 26 plus 50 million pound players.
Actually, the players that turn up at training at Chelsea are more than 30. And so what the information reaching me is that sometimes they would have to divide the team into two. And sometimes like some players don't even get the opportunity to train.
How do you train a team like that?
So I read from quarters that some players even have put in transfer requests that at the end of the season they would want to be sold.
Well,
because
I think
they're not getting.
So I think that we need to put the picture clearer out there. But back to the Pochettino scenario.
But then I've received an information which indicates that yes, he bought players, but if you look at the players that they were bought basically because Chelsea looked at the situation. Todd Bowley and the entire staff looked at the situation and realized that we are not making Champions League football. Let's take this opportunity to buy some of the best young talent out there, prepare the team for next season.
Who sent you that info? Wrong info. Best young talent. Who? Which?
Modric.
Come on.
Are you going to doubt his quality?
The guy.
But have you seen him play?
No.
You see, when you see quality, yes, he's found himself in a team that's not good. But when you see quality, you see quality.
What do you see in Modric?
So you think that on any given day,
see in Modric? You see
the Anthony you have
no.
is better than Modric.
I wouldn't want to engage in this. I simply would not want to engage in this. I think this is
I always say
street-side
that
banter.
when you
I
see
would not want to
quality,
engage in
nobody
this,
should
but
tell you,
you know why?
is quality.
No, listen.
I would want to see
Listen.
Modric in this Arsenal team.
Oh, how?
If he had
How?
taken the opportunity to join
Well,
Arsenal,
I think Arsenal,
trust me, this young chap would have seen the reason why people wanted to pay 80 million, 70 million pounds for him.
Arsenal swept the bullet in Modric, and I think that they got a better, cheaper buy in Trossard. There's no way you can convince me that Modric would have been a better fit than Trossard is with the Arsenal team.
I'm not bringing
And there's
I
no
am saying that
Modric. No,
if Modric was in this Arsenal team, what I'm saying is that we would have seen a better player of that Modric version that we are seeing. The Modric version we are seeing at Chelsea is a combination of every toxic atmosphere around Chelsea.
Well, let me tell you something. You can rant and rave and do all the things you do. I mean, listen, a player can shine tremendously in the Ukrainian league. That's fine. But myself,
are you downplaying the qualities that come from the Ukrainian? I can give you.
I don't know why you want me to learn. I don't know why you are being prejudiced. I am saying that a player can shine in the Ukrainian league. Listen, there is more than enough insider information that Chelsea did not want to buy Modric. I can give you 1,001 sources. Listen, I mean, we need to situate this all. Chelsea were not bent on signing Modric.
So
what made them buy bullied
Modric
into signing that? Because apparently Arsenal had done a lot of scouting on them. Chelsea felt that they didn't really have a lot of those here on Modric. You understand? And at the end of the day, they felt that if Arsenal has done this extensive, they tried to hijack the whole deal. It was not something they needed. For me, you can be an okay player in the Ukrainian league. We've seen a lot of them. We've seen Fred. We've seen a lot of them. You understand?
He was actually voted as the best young talent in the Ukrainian league prior to his departure.
That's fine.
So he's not an okay player.
You see, what makes you think he's quality? Football. No, hold on. Football. It's about your sense of judgment, especially if you're a forward player. Your sense of judgment. That's the first thing. That's the first. Oh, come on. You are here.
So Anthony has no sense of judgment because there have been a lot of decisions.
I think that's bringing in the Anthony.
Because
it does not make the conversation any richer. That's prejudice. I mean, I think that's prejudice.
Let's focus on the
we're talking about Pochettino.
Yeah, let's focus on the Pochettino.
We're talking about Pochettino.
Yeah.
I think that he's one manager I very much love, and I think that even when we're previewing the managers for the people who gets to fill in the gap in terms of managerial. Yes, I spoke about Pochettino. I spoke about Luis Enrique.
Yeah.
I felt that the profiles fitted very much the kind of atmosphere at Chelsea. You look at this Chelsea team, relatively young.
Yeah.
They have a lot of very young players who are talented, and Pochettino is that one manager who has that track record. I mean, we all remember my good friend who eventually is in Turkey. I think he's in Turkey. Dele Ali. You understand? Dele Ali. You look at Davies. You look at Dyer. You look at all of the kids that he was able to produce with the Tottenham team and get them playing at the levels that they were playing before he left. I think that, yes, he did not win any trophies with Chelsea, but with Tottenham, but there was significant progress. And so you look at this Chelsea project, you look at the main characters.
Yeah.
These are characters who are very young. Pochettino understands the chemistry of those characters. I mean, he's somebody who has worked very much. I mean, yesterday we were talking about Bielsa.
Yeah.
Pochettino is a student of Bielsa. You understand?
A typical student of Marcelo Bielsa.
Yes, he's somebody who understands the dynamics of young players, their state of being, their ability to absorb certain levels of information. And so I think that based on everything that exists and transpires at Chelsea right now, he's the best manager for the job. And listen, if you're talking about a coach who is tactical, If you're talking about one of the best tactical brains in world football today,
You want to
I
push
would not
Mauricio
look
Pochettino in
beyond
there?
Mauricio Pochettino. I would never look beyond Mauricio Pochettino.
Let's explore that conversation. You've seen Mauricio Pochettino at Spurs over a period of more than 5 seasons. He's handled them for more than 5 seasons. You speak about the tactical brains of Mauricio Pochettino. What do you remember tactically in all the 5 years? What brand of football tactically can you associate Mauricio Pochettino with at Spurs?
That's where you get it wrong. I mean, I don't get you when you say what brand of football, what brand of tactics. What is tactics?
Kofi, we sit
No,
here.
I think
we sit here and
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. What is tactics?
I'm coming. Yes, I'm responding. We sit here and we berate Jurgen Klopp for his inability to shuffle players and move players in positions and players finding themselves out of position and all of that.
Let me help
we
you out.
sit here and wax lyrical about Jose Mourinho because at the mention of the name Jose Mourinho, you associate a certain brand of football, how Mourinho feels the game should be played at a particular point in time with him. You mentioned somebody like, let me talk about Pep Guardiola. You have a fair idea of how he feels the game should be played. You handle a team for more than 5 seasons, and you and I sitting here, we cannot on top of our head associate a particular brand of football with you, and you want me to put you in the category of top tactical managers in the world, Mauricio Pochettino.
No, maybe on top of your head, you don't remember the brand of football.
What is his brand of football?
Well,
in
I
terms
think
of
that under
what is he
Tottenham,
noted for?
under Tottenham, if you're looking for a manager who has an impact on not just the attacking line of his team, but defensively, go back and check that Tottenham team that he coached. Defensively, they were as solid as gold. Defensively, attacking wise, he unwinded and I think he opened up very various channels of attack. So there was a fine balance between defending and attacking, and that's the one thing that you note Pochettino for. I mean, listen, I'm asking you also one question.
Yeah.
What do you make of the brand of football Tuchel plays? What brand of football does he play?
Tuchel is a proper Genghis pressing student.
Oh, come on.
Tuchel is a spitting image of a Genghis pressing football.
Have you seen that with the Bayern team?
Oh yes.
You saw that with the Bayern team?
Yes.
You saw that with the Bayern team that turned up against Man City?
Do not use.
Have you seen them in the Bundesliga?
Do not use a
they
single.
do not press.
Do not use
they
a single game. I saw Mauricio Thomas Tuchel handle what is it called? PSG. I saw Thomas Tuchel in his first few months at Chelsea.
He is depressed.
You sit here, and I think that let's always understand one thing. When you pick a new team, it takes time for you to establish your brand of football.
No
fact.
Thomas Tuchel has proved that that theory is not true, right?
Kofi, are you telling me that
Thomas Tuchel did all of the things he did at Chelsea in 6 months?
Are you telling me in 6 months how many months has he handled Bayern Munich?
I am saying that
how many months has he handled Bayern Munich?
If there are footprints of your tactics, it should be at play.
No, it should be at play, but not in. No? He has not even handled Bayern Munich for a month.
No, I'm saying.
Let me ask you a simple question. How many years has Erik ten Hag been in charge of Manchester United?
Barely 9 months.
Barely 9 months. But have you seen, because you and I sitting here, the Ten Hag we saw at Ajax, the brand of football Ajax played, that is not the football Manchester United is playing now. Is that the brand
of football you'd want to see at Manchester United?
Yes, because that is what you brought the man in for. That is what he's noted for. So my point is, you need to stabilize the ship before you can get to, what is it called, imprint your tactics on the team. So if somebody handles a team for barely a month, come on. Even the great Pep Guardiola, when he took over, Manchester City,
let me ask you one simple question.
For his first season, he was third. We were not seeing the kind of football. It took him 2 years.
Let me ask you one simple question. What's the brand of football Ten Hag plays?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
Ten Hag is a proper student of Pep Guardiola.
So if you know, he's no student of Pep Guardiola.
Please.
Ten Hag is no student of Pep Guardiola.
Why are you trying to hide from the issue? Anyway,
Ten
back to the Mauricio Pochettino bit. What will he add to Chelsea? Because you spoke about he developing there are young talent, young players. He's noted for that. That's not what Chelsea is looking at. Listen, even with all the way you are waxing lyrical about him, literally pouring honey all over him and all of that, what did he achieve with Spurs? Because listen, a manager can be, as a manager, you are as good eventually as the trophies you show for.
Now that's an unfair comment.
Because
that's an unfair comment.
let me finish.
That's an unfair comment because I will not let you finish because then I will also ask you a simple question. You sit here and talk about the great Jose Mourinho. You sit here and talk about the great Antonio Conte. What did he achieve with Spurs?
You see, you can
I move to the?
I am coming.
Can I move to the Pochettino bit?
Antonio Conte.
Well, can I move to the Pochettino bit?
Antonio Conte.
Can we move to the Pochettino bit?
You see, I'm actually on the Mauricio Pochettino bit.
I think we do not
so
need to
what
debate.
I'm saying
Let's
is,
move to the Pochettino bit.
What I'm saying is, listen, a coach is as good as eventually the trophies you show for. People talk about how great Marcelo Bielsa is as a manager. You've spoken about his ability to work with young talent. Great. His ability to you could see he has great ideas and how he wants his team to play. But with everything Marcelo Bielsa has done in his time at Argentina, in his time at, Spain, and in his time in England, his short stint in England, Marcelo Bielsa has very little to show for. So when you mention categories of great managers, as good as he's produced even students of the game, Pep Guardiola, Mauricio Pochettino, your darling Mauricio Pochettino, nobody ranks Marcelo Bielsa because he has nothing to show for. For everything football, we sat here and we spoke about, okay, on top of our head, what can we associate Alex Ferguson for in terms of tactics, in terms of how games are defined? I think basically that was what Jamie Carragher was trying to say. Yet we sit here and we say, if not for anything, he is the greatest manager to have ever, he's the greatest manager in our generation. Why? Because no manager has been able to amass 38 major trophies.
Can I ask you a question? I think that you are.
I'm being unfair to Mauricio Pochettino.
Your logic is flawed.
My logic is 5 years.
Totally flawed, and I'll tell you why.
How many years is Pochettino spend at Chelsea?
Your logic is totally flawed, and I'll go back to the Pochettino bit.
Yeah.
Spurs is not the only team he's coached.
He handled Espanyol.
Can I finish?
We know he coached Espanyol.
I don't know why you are all over the place.
You told me you would not allow me to finish. Okay.
Spurs is not the only team he's coached.
Very true.
Obviously, nobody can win trophies with Espanyol. Not even Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
Ancelotti showed with Everton that you cannot win trophies with Everton.
With certain teams.
Yes. So I do not think that you need to berate Pochettino for his job at Espanyol. He's coached.
I have never spoken about
He's coached other top teams. He won trophies with PSG. And I'm asking you, has anybody ever won trophies with Tottenham Hotspur?
Are you asking me?
I am asking you. Kofi. Because I do not think that you need to gauge the man based on his work at Tottenham. Because time has proven that no manager can win trophies with Tottenham. So if you are using Tottenham as the linchpin, if you are using Tottenham as the gauge, I think you are totally wrong and you are totally off tangent. Because at the end of the day, Pochettino and at Tottenham, you can also cite Conte at Tottenham. Conte came in with a lot of promise. Jose Mourinho at Tottenham. All of these managers have been at Tottenham, have had elite squads to work with, have not won any trophies.
That I disagree.
So at the end of the day, Pochettino went to PSG, won trophies with them. You understand? All of the other managers who came after Pochettino at Tottenham have not won any trophies. World-class elite managers. So I do not think that his job tenure at Tottenham has to be the ultimate gauge.
In your own words, you sat and you're on record to have said that any manager in this world would win the French league with PSG. Unless you want to, in your own words, you sat You've been on record to say any manager having the resources you have at PSG, playing in the French league, you win a trophy with PSG. So winning a trophy with PSG, playing in the French league, based on your logic, come on, Kofi, it's not news. My point here is that you are waxing lyrical about Pochettino. For me, I do not hate the man. I like him. He has a nice personality. But nice personalities don't play football. I want end product. You sit here and say that, well, how many managers have won trophies with... Jose Mourinho literally did not finish his job at Spurs. He was hounded out based on administrative decisions that we know clearly. Antonio Conte spoke about it, that you personally berated Antonio Conte. You are seeing the evidence of it. Antonio Conte himself was out not because of the football, because he came out to talk about the things that are wrong with Spurs that we are seeing now. So if you've had over 7 seasons with Tottenham Hotspurs at one particular team, you've had time to buy. There was a time, that Spurs, there was a time Spurs were in the top 5 ranking category of teams that have spent more in terms of the top 4 teams. Even in the last 5 seasons, Spurs, their net spending is more than the net spending of Manchester City. Tottenham Hotspur, their net spending is more than that of Manchester City. So when it comes to spending, they spend. How much did they buy Richarlison for? 50 million pounds. 50 million pounds. How much did they purchase Ivan Perisic? The list can go on and on. How much did they bring in Rodrigo Bentancur for? They buy and they buy big. You've had the opportunity to work with young talents, true, but you had the opportunity to also buy and buy big, yet you've not been able to win anything. So my point is, yes, he's a great person. He has good ideas, but for a club like Chelsea, I do not think that they want to experiment with Pochettino, working with, I have good ideas, I can develop young players for you. If I am to take your words for anything, personally, I think that for me, I would have preferred a Luis Enrique, because I have seen the body of work, and you have spoken about the work Luis Enrique has done extensively with Barcelona and even with this young Spanish team, and you think that Luis Enrique would have been a perfect fit for Chelsea. Kofi, you and I, if you have a Luis Enrique, if you have Pochettino, maybe the only reason why you pick Pochettino is he has that experience in the English Premier League. But miles ahead, Luis Enrique is a better manager in terms of achievement and output than Mauricio Pochettino. You would doubt that?
He could be a better manager, but a bad fit for the project. I mean, I think that the owners of the project...
that the Chelsea
well, I think the owners of the project have looked at all of the other parameters. They have looked at all of the tangibles, and they have examined critically all of the things. Yes, Luis Enrique himself is on a downward trend, unless you don't want to believe. You understand? I think that he's a bit on the downward trend.
And his inconsistency.
I don't know why you call this an inconsistency, but I mean, I think that you gave an answer in your own submission that they think that he might probably struggle to adapt to the league. It's not easy to coach in the EPL. Even the great Pep Guardiola you mentioned, I mean, when he first walked into the league, set all manner of records he had not set in his career before. Set all manner of records. He had to run to the sheikhs to demand the checkbook. You understand? He had to run to the sheikhs to demand the checkbooks that, listen, if you don't let me sign these players, I am not going to survive here. So even the great Pep Guardiola, it's on record to have suffered all man. That was the first time in his career that he finished a league season at 4th position. In his first season in the EPL.
Is that third?
No, he did not finish 3rd. He finished 4th. If you can check for me. You understand? That was the season where Adam Lukman and the Everton squad were doing a lot of damage to City. So I think that adaptability is a big influence in here. And for me, listen, I mean, you can have all your qualms you'd want about what's the name, Mauricio Pochettino, but he's highly regarded in inner circles when it comes to coaching on the highest of stages. I mean, it's an open secret that when Manchester United wanted a manager,
So he was
he had
third.
to.
2016, 2017, he was third.
He was third.
Yeah,
He was third.
2017, yeah, 2016, 2017.
Well, that's fine.
He was third.
That's fine.
That's the only time he's been third in all
That's
throughout his
fine.
career.
With how many points?
I not necessarily I checking the point, but he was third in 2016, 2017.
Well, I mean, I would not want to doubt the authenticity of your information, but back to the things I'm saying, it's an open secret that when Manchester United wanted a manager, he had to go down between Pochettino and
you feel
Eric
he's the
Ten
right
Hag.
man for the job?
Well, I think he's absolutely the right coach for Chelsea. Pochettino is a great coach. Yes, he might not have won trophies, and I feel that this Chelsea project will be very dangerous under Pochettino.
Wow.
He's a manager who knows his onions, and he can get the best. He gets the best out of the players. Listen, if you're watching Sports 101 tonight, I am making this prediction: Chelsea will be brutally dangerous under Mauricio Pochettino next season. I hate to say this, but they will be one of the strongest forces in the EPL. Mark my words.
What would be the fine line between success and failure for Mauricio Pochettino in his first season at Chelsea?
Well, I think that you have answered the question yourself. Even the great Pep Guardiola had to run to the sheikhs. So I don't know why he demands so much of Mauricio Pochettino. Pep Guardiola, you just mentioned, was said yesterday. Yesterday, you were telling us about the Arteta project, the 5-year project.
Yeah.
You're telling us that Arteta is in his third season. They have targets. So I think that Chelsea are also running a project. I think that the immediate goal will be for them coming back into the Champions League.
We've not read anything. I've not read anything.
I'm telling you on authority that they are running a project. That's how come they're running a project. They're running a 7-8 year project. That's why some of the players have been. I don't know why you're excited. That's why some of the players.
I'm excited.
I don't know why some of the players. That's why some of the players have been signed on 7-year contracts. I mean, some of the players have been signed on 7.5-year contracts because they are running a long-term project. You understand?
Yeah.
It was one of the reasons why Tuchel was fired. You understand? Because they felt that he wasn't really in bed with the project. They are running a long-term project. And for a manager, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, it's a long-term project. So the first year, I think that the main dynamics will be getting Chelsea back into the Champions League. That would amount to some level of success. You understand?
What should he change? Because there are a lot of toxic, or there are a lot of toxic things in the Chelsea dressing room or around the Chelsea team right now. People talk about some players, like I spoke about. There are a lot of players who are not happy because I do not know the players, but there are lots of players. They feel if you are not training, you are not. They've bought a lot of players. Some of them you've not even seen before.
They've bought a lot of substandard players, and one of the things that I expect Pochettino to do.
What should he change?
Cut the squad. Send all those substandard players away. I mean, what's the name of that guy? Fofana.
You think Fofana should be sent?
Fofana the defender, Fofana the forward. Rubbish players.
What of Badiashile?
I don't know him.
I like that name.
I don't know him. His name sounds like
There's
somebody.
Brazilian Santos. Honestly, Chelsea, they bought power because some of them, they've not even done the Chelsea JC before.
Well, that's their problem. You understand? But
so you feel he should trim the squad?
Trim down the squad. And I think that if Pochettino is going to succeed also, a lot will depend on Todd Bowley. Give him the free room to work. I think that the owners have made huge mistakes. You understand? It's time to embrace their deficiencies.
Okay.
You understand? Understand that the dynamics of running a team in the West, of running a soccer team in the West, differs very much from running any franchise in North America.
Let's wrap up on this Pochettino bit, and I'll take comments regarding the subject that we are looking at. Do you think that Pochettino is the man to take Chelsea to the next level with all their struggles this season? Because it's a done deal. It's just left with the announcement. Let us know your take. We are transmitting live also on Tardy FM 99.1, and keep the super stickers coming. It's very important. Support us with the super stickers. We appreciate that so much. Kofi, let's conclude on this Pochettino bid.
Well,
And
just a quick one.
yeah.
Game one is done. The Miami Heat have gone to the New York Knicks and have stolen game one.
Wow.
Jimmy Butler and his crew, bad crew,
playoff battler. So we'll wrap up the show with news on basketball. Yeah. So Kofi, I don't know, you were concluding on the Pochettino bit. Then I take some few comments.
I think that it's pretty much a done deal. I mean, get him the work tools that he need. I'm pretty sure that he might go on to sign a player or two, cut off some of the players, because honestly, some of the players who have been bought at Chelsea are not Premiership material.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, Fofana. I saw Fofana, the striker. I've seen Fofana, the 22, 23-year-old defender. 23-year-old, you cannot run and you want to defend in the APL. Lethargic. Travesty. And I think that he needs to cut off all of those rubbish players from the roster. If he does not cut off those rubbish players, his job is going to be compounded.
Okay, quickly. We did a poll, and the poll running currently is Pochettino the right man for the Chelsea job? And as we speak, 56% of the voters believe that Pochettino is the right man for the job, and 44% believe that Pochettino doesn't cut it. So very, very close poll there. It's more or less like a very divided opinion there. So let me take these few comments. So there is Yasantua who is watching us. Prince Gakpe is watching us. PHS says that Liverpool are picking up points gradually, but it rather too late. I strongly believe that it's too late for them to make the top four. We'll talk about everything happening in Europe as well. VP Reality says the refs are becoming worse each day, even with VAR. Chelsea is a joke. I do not know what they've done that you want to say Chelsea are a joke. How can you rely on changing coaches all the time for success? Chelsea will sack Poch next season. That's a bold prediction there. I strongly believe that Kofi will disagree with you. The Chelsea management are a joke. I mean, Chelsea can't always rely on the sacking of coaches to succeed. That's very true. I mean, it's time people understand that you just can't keep chopping and changing. Yes, he's going to make them worse and hopeless, and I love it. This is coming from George Pamford. He believes that Mauricio Pochettino will make them worse. Poch will do magic at Chelsea. Is exactly what Chelsea needs, considering his ability to develop young players. People keep talking about his ability to develop young players. Let's see what happens and what he's able to do with some of the young players at Chelsea. Poch is a good coach. Why is Lucky always in a hurry to refer to your man, Anthony and Ten Hag? Because Kofi always makes us believe that. I think when we did, if you remember, we did a show where I spoke highly of the fact that I would, if I had 100 million, I'll put that money on Mohamed Kudus and not buy Anthony. We are seeing Anthony.
And you think you have not repented?
No, I've not. We've seen Anthony in the league. We've seen Anthony in the league. Oh, Kudus will easily play. If Anthony is playing for Manchester United, if Anthony is playing, Kudus can play for Manchester United. Anyway, guys, keep the comments coming. We love and appreciate you so much. We are live on YouTube. Please subscribe, it's very important. If you are new to this channel, if you are just watching us for the first time, click on the subscription button and join the Sports 101 family.
Well, I think that you mentioned the league table a while ago when we were previewing the results that were chalked in Europe a couple of weekends ago. Yes, that's fine. You mentioned the league table, and surprisingly, I am hearing that Arsenal were top of the league for 5 months and over.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, in the final home stretch, they have been usurped
by Manchester City. That's
I mean, people say, if you watch this show Time Without Number, people have called me all manner of names. People have said I'm a prophet of doom. People have called me a pessimist. People have called me a killjoy, that I do not like Arsenal, but that I am not a realist. That
they actually use the word you hate Arsenal.
Yes, that I hate Arsenal, rightly so. And they said that Arsenal were going to shame me. They were going to win the league trophy.
I was one of those proponents.
Yes. But now, today, even having played a game less,
they're a point ahead of Arsenal.
City are ahead of Arsenal. My take.
Yeah.
I think that if Arsenal was a team that had any sort of standards, that had any measure of everything good about them, they should be thinking about firing Mikel Arteta at the end of the season.
On what grounds?
Because you do not lead charges that way. We've spoken about Leicester. We've spoken about all of the other unlikely teams which won major trophies in the end. Yesterday, you made some beautiful points about the fact that Arsenal did not set out to win the league trophy this season. And Percy tells you that, I mean, listen, a team that has won 3 FA Cups in the last 5 years, and then a team that has spent over £300 million on its squad.
Yeah.
You do not tell me, and a team that is EPL royalty. If you take away Manchester United, if you take away Liverpool, Arsenal are the third force with 13 league trophies. So if you are Arsenal, you based on this history, you've spent so much money, you've spent over £300 million, you have won trophies under the same manager, and then you have built a team, and then you find yourself in a position of strength. And you bottle up in the manner. You see, Arsenal under Mikel Arteta are behaving like Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers.
How?
They seemingly seem to get there, but are so far away. And for me,
So
my
close,
quick
yet so far.
my quick take: Arsenal are a club that has no standards. They are absolutely shambolic, and if they had any standards, they should be thinking of parting ways with Mikel Arteta, because it's clear that the guy loses his sense of judgment. It's clear that the guy loses his sense of composure. It's absolutely clear that the guy cannot think straight when the pressure is highest. Mikel Arteta is the reason why Arsenal have bottled this league. He's the guy who is supposed to create leaders among the ranks. He's not done that. Everything that you expect from a top manager who has been backed with so much money, who has been backed even when some of the people in the boardroom felt that this was a manager who was not worth his salt to lead this software project. He has been backed. He's taking them there, and he's bottled it. Listen, if you're watching me, there's no redemption for Arsenal. Listen, you can be an Arsenal fan. All my Arsenal friends, you can be an Arsenal fan. Lyrics, all of the people who are watching Madri, all of the people who are watching Manucho, GM Caesar, Albert Abebu. You can be an Arsenal fan and think that, oh, okay, there's hope along the way. Please, there is no hope. It's done. Arsenal have bottled the league. And for a manager and a team like Arsenal, I think that this is the highest level of failure. There's no way you call this season a success if Arsenal bottles this league, and they have. Wow. Listen, to bring home my closing remarks. Arsenal set out in the season hoping to win 4 trophies: the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup,
is it on record?
The Europa League, and then the league. At a certain point, Arsenal felt that, oh, okay, we didn't win the FA Cup. We've won the FA Cup under Mikel Arteta. So listen, we can decide to chalk out of the FA Cup. Then they said that, oh, okay, we don't need a Carabao Cup. It's a Mickey Mouse trophy. Yeah. Then they were left playing in the league and the Europa League. I mean, we don't want the Europa League. The thing that we are looking for is the EPL. And on 7th April 2023, the manager of Arsenal came out to tell the whole world that the players and himself believe that they can win the EPL title.
Yeah.
There could not have been any grander statement than that.
In wrapping up,
they bottle it.
So in wrapping up, what you are basically saying is that if it happens, based on your analysis and everything, when it happens,
it has happened.
When it happens,
it has happened.
When it happens that Arsenal eventually lose the league title to Manchester City,
it will be an absolutely shambolic season.
The season would have been a failed season for Arsenal,
and
in
there
your
should be
honest opinion.
Repercussions.
Okay, so you spoke. I didn't interrupt. Now, I disagree. And the reason why I disagree is down to one or two reasons. First and foremost, there is no Arsenal fan watching us, listening to us on Tardy FM, watching us live on YouTube, wherever you're doing the viewing from, that believes that at the start of this season, Arsenal as a team, Arsenal as an entity, the entire management at Arsenal believe that this league, we are one of the major contenders for this league. No. True, Arsenal are Premier League royalty, but the current state of Arsenal in the last 5 seasons, they have not been Premier League or royalty. Let me even stretch it to the last 10 seasons. Arsenal have not been Premier League royalty. And if you look at the state of Arsenal currently, you see, when you are drawing up a target, you look at the state you find yourself in, the resources available, and you draw up your target. Everybody listening to us, watching us, clearly, when the season started, we earmarked 2 or 3 teams: City, Liverpool. Barring any of the unexpectedness, City, Liverpool. Let me even throw in Manchester United because of the appointment of Erik ten Hag, because people felt that, okay, this guy can do the job. But there were 2 major contenders that almost everybody, and if you watch the major portals, you read around the news portals, Sky Sport, all these top portals that we go to for information, they did their predictions. There were 2 teams that were running at top: Manchester City, Liverpool. These were the teams that people expected will again go in for the running for the league. Nobody. Arsenal were placed somewhere around 5th. Clearly indicating that everybody has assessed the situation at Arsenal and do not see this Arsenal team as a major contender. The best that most people were looking at is Arsenal making the top 4, making the Champions League. Aside that, nobody envisioned that Arsenal would win the league. Fine, the season has started. The season continues and the unexpected happens. I personally feel that Liverpool have dropped off because of a lot of unexpectedness, and hopefully next season, if they do things right, they will come good. But where Liverpool find themselves, nobody expected them to find themselves there. They are there. Nobody even expected Newcastle to be where they are, but they are there. So Arsenal finding themselves at the top of the league table is a shock to a lot of people, but it happens. So if you set out a target and in the midst of the target or in the middle of it, you realize that, oh, okay, I am achieving more than I targeted. Kofi, you and I sitting here, we've drawn up, we work on projects. When you set out a target for a project and in the course of the project, you realize that, okay, I am achieving more than that. The same way there are unexpected things that happen for you to achieve more than that, the same way there could be unexpected things that could happen that you could drop off. That's why you make room for some of these extraneous variables or uncertainties. So why would you sit somewhere and say that Arsenal would be a failure if they do not win the league because they were on top of the league for 5 months? You need to assess yourself. This Arsenal team, the strength of this Arsenal team can in nowhere be compared to their major competitor, that is Manchester City. I would agree with you, Kofi, if you say that this Arsenal team would have failed or have been a failure if their strength could match the strength of Manchester City. Even Liverpool, this Liverpool team, their strength cannot match Manchester City. How much more a team that has an average age of 22, 23? Who is leading the lines for Arsenal? Gabriel Jesus, who was literally a one-time player at Manchester City. Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka. These are the players leading the lines for Arsenal. Let's look at the midfield. Thomas Partey, what's his name? Vieira, Xhaka. The only experienced entity in there that has played for the team for a number of years is Xhaka. Look at the defense. Saliba, somebody who was brought in after a long loan spell. Zinchenko, somebody who came in just this season. Tomiyasu, you can name them. All these defenders. Gabriel, Megales, all these defenders. Oh, Kofi, please. At every single department of this Arsenal team, they cannot even be compared to any of the top 3 teams in terms of City, Liverpool, Manchester United. Despite everything that is happening at Liverpool, I can tell you on authority that Liverpool are stronger in defense than Arsenal. Liverpool are stronger in the midfield than Arsenal. Liverpool are stronger in attack than Arsenal. They are going through a season that I feel the coach has not done certain things right. Some of the players have not been on form and all of that. So putting all that together, Liverpool find themselves where they are. Compare this Arsenal team to Manchester United. Can you, Kofi? Are you listening? Watching and listening to me? Can you, on authority, say that this Arsenal team is a better team than Manchester United? Kofi?
Well,
No, it's a question. I'm expecting a response. Let's be honest.
No, I will give you an answer.
Let's be honest. Is this Arsenal team a better team than Manchester United
team? To finish your statement, then I'll give you.
What I am saying is, if you compare this Arsenal team to the teams or the major teams that before the season started, we expected them to make a run at the league title, all of them are far better teams or superior team than this Arsenal team. So clearly, there's a deficiency there. But in anything, there are unexpected things that happen. Arsenal have found themselves at the top of the table. Yes, they've come up, and clearly you could see that the team they are competing with, i.e. Manchester City, are a far superior team. They cannot compete. So as we speak, City are ahead of Arsenal. If it eventually happens that Arsenal lose the league, I think that personally, in my honest opinion, Arsenal would have overachieved because they didn't set out a target to be second even on the league table. So for Arsenal to qualify to the Champions League after over 5 years of not playing in the Champions League, and 2, place second in this dispensation, I do not think that is a failed season, Kofi.
Well, quick one. I think that you've spoken a lot. You made some great points, but I do not agree entirely with all of the things that you have said, and I'll tell you why. First of all, that you sit here and tell us that before the season began, nobody predicted that blah, 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 blah. Let me ask you a simple question. Hold on. Let me ask you a simple question, and it's a rhetorical question. Okay. Did anybody predict that Napoli were going to win the league in Italy? No. Nobody predicted that Napoli were going to win the league in Italy because obviously there were other stronger entities, there were other stronger units. Everybody thought that Juventus were going to be in there. Everybody thought the AC Milan were going to be in there. Everybody thought the Inter Milan were going to be in there. But listen, Napoli played themselves into a position of strength, never looked back. And you see, you keep making the point about the fact that they do not have strength equal to that of City. They do not need to have strength like City to win the league over City, because at the end of the day, it's not just the dynamics between the two of you. Mm-hmm. It's the dynamics between yourself and the other 19 teams. Okay. You understand? It's not just the dynamics between City and Arsenal. Okay. Listen, 3 games ago, Arsenal had a healthy lead. Yeah. They drew against Liverpool. They drew against West Ham. They drew against who again?
For about a month now, there was at the time Arsenal were 11 points.
Exactly the point. So if you make that point, if you make that point that they do not have the strength of City, I think that with all due respect, that point is moot. It does not come into the equation when it comes to making judgments about who wins the league and who doesn't win the. You do not need to have the strength of your competitor to win the league. Winning the league is all about strategy. Winning the league is not necessarily dependent on your strength, because we've seen stronger teams that have not gone on to win the league.
That's true.
You understand? And making the point that nobody predicted, I find that quite strange, because we do not need people's prediction to win the league trophy. Who predicted that Inter were going to win the league this season? Nobody.
Inter is not winning.
Napoli. Who predicted that Napoli will win the league this season? No, hold on.
And say
so it's not about who predicted. Okay. At the end of the day, listen, football is a level playing field. And if you tell me that Arsenal have played themselves into the Champions League, but football is a level playing field. Once you have strengthened, once you have spent a lot of money, once you have put other major key roles in place to make sure that you strengthen your team, and you find yourself in a position of strength. Let me tell you something. If Liverpool found themselves where Arsenal found themselves, they wouldn't bottle the league trophy.
2000
If Manchester United, no, hold on.
Liverpool had a healthy lead ahead of Manchester City. City at some point was it 8 on the league table. Then they put together that up to now people talk about 20 unbeaten run. They caught up to Liverpool, pipped Liverpool by a point.
That's
98 97.
That's fine.
So
eclipse of the moon. That's fine. That's fine. If even this Manchester United team, as infantile as it is, found itself in the position Arsenal found itself in, it wouldn't bottle the league title. And you see, you make the point about you make the point about Arsenal finishing second. Listen, you sit here and you berate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second with Manchester United. What's the fuss about Arsenal finishing second with this level of talent and this level of investment Yes, this level of talent. Listen, there was a player shortlist for PFA Players of the Season. How many players of the Arsenal were not in there?
So
they've had stellar seasons. We've talked about Bakayo Saka. We've talked about Martinelli. You have waxed lyrical about Gabriel Jesus. Even when
lyrical about Gabriel.
I am not talking about you. I'm talking about our listeners. You understand, our viewers. Listen, when Gabriel Jesus got injured, no genuine football supporter didn't feel that it was going to worry Arsenal. Because that was how influential he was with the team as at that point.
But would you also agree that the fact that Gabriel
listen, when Gabriel Jesus got injured, everybody got worried because he was so integral to the team, he was playing so well. And so when Gabriel Jesus got injured, everybody felt that, come on, this is where Arsenal falls off. But to their credit, they brought in Nketiah. I am saying that all the points you are making about in Arsenal's defense are moot.
So
you make that point about prediction. Nobody predicted that they will win the trophy. Nobody predicted that they will be in the top four. I think that with all due respect, that is moot. Everybody begins the season with a particular whatever agenda.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You cannot sit here and tell me that Arsenal did not begin the season not wanting to win the league. Yes, you cannot sit here and tell me that.
How I wish that we could get into the minds of true Arsenal fans.
No.
Listen,
it's not about getting into the minds of true Arsenal fans.
I'm not an Arsenal fan.
These are dealing with statements of fact.
Yes.
You cannot sit here and tell me that Arsenal did not have any plans of winning the league at the beginning of the year. I strongly believe that Arsenal started the season having plans of winning the league. So as all of the top 6 clubs.
That's not true.
So as all of the top...
I disagree.
You know why? You can disagree, but you do not have any measure of proof to dispute it. All of the top 6 clubs begin the league thinking that they have an equal measure of winning the league title.
Okay, so let me come in here.
And then you make that point, about the fact that,
I asked you a question.
Which one?
The strength of this current United team. Do you think that this Arsenal team is stronger than the Manchester United team?
They are.
It's on record. Kofi believes that this Arsenal team is a better team than this Manchester United team.
They are a stronger team.
This is why I'm saying the things I'm saying. This is where I disagree with you on a bit that all the top 6 teams started the season believing that they can win the league. I do not think so. Kofi, you do not sit here and tell us that all the top 6 teams started this season with the notion that they can win the league. No, the league is a marathon. Listen, when you are on a marathon race, you identify 2, 3, or 4 guys. So if you watch these Kenyans, if you watch these guys from Ethiopia and all of that, mostly they are looking at some few major competitors. If you've studied how marathon race are, they are looking at when they are running, they're actually looking at their major competitors. So they'll be turning around looking at them. They are the people you are looking at because they are the guys you are pitching your strength against. And I am saying that, truth be told, when the season started, when everybody was on a level playing field, pick the Arsenal team, pick the Liverpool team, pick the City team, pick the Manchester United team. All the other 3 teams are stronger and better team than Arsenal.
No, the fact that they are, the fact that they are stronger. No, the fact that they are stronger doesn't mean
let me even
winning
wrap up.
the league title. No, that's one thing I disagree with you strongly.
Kofi, I'm building a point.
Winning the league title means that you have to be the strongest.
I am building a point.
I think the point is not valid.
My point here is that when you are on a marathon race, you usually identify some few competitors, and clearly Arsenal's major competitors before the league started, Arsenal don't look at Spurs as a major competitor. So they are looking at Manchester United, they are looking at Chelsea, they are looking at Liverpool, they are looking at Manchester City. Am I lying? Because nobody envisioned that this Chelsea team will be this bad. No, because they had Thomas Tuchel in there. This is a team that last season had won the Champions League, or 2 seasons ago, had won the Champions League. So clearly, these teams were the team that Arsenal were looking at. Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Nobody can tell me that prior to the season started, somebody can state on authority that the Arsenal team that they have is a better team than all these 4 teams that I've mentioned.
That is where I get you get it wrong.
No,
I am saying that you do not need to have the best team to win the league.
So you see, when in the course of the marathon, when the other teams fall off, you become the best team. In the season that you become the better team, in the season that Leicester City won the league, nobody expected them to win the league. But as the season went on, the only major competitor in there was Tottenham Hotspur, because the other teams were rubbish. Arguably, in the long haul, Leicester City were better. In the long haul, Tottenham Hotspur were better. And eventually it happened that Leicester City pipped Tottenham Hotspur because they were better in terms of the ability to manage the long haul. That is what I'm saying. So clearly, in Arsenal's dynamics, comparing themselves to the other teams, Arsenal falls short. So if for some reason Arsenal find themselves at the top of the league table and they have one of those teams in there who have become their major competitors in Manchester City, they need to look at their strength. If I'm fighting with you, because as we speak, it's like a boxing game, it's like a chess game. Arsenal and Manchester City are going at each other. The 2 teams are picking at each other's moves. Would you, Kofi, tell me, sit in this studio with our listeners listening to us, our viewers watching us, would you tell me that Arsenal are a better team than Manchester City?
Well, let me tell you why.
So if Manchester City pips Arsenal to the league title, it's no news.
Well, I think it's major news.
Oh, come on. In the last 5 seasons, City have been the best team in the league. The only team that has competed extensively with Manchester City is Liverpool.
Are you done?
I am done.
I think that this whole analogy is clearly flawed. One, you do not need to have the best team in the league to win the league.
For a marathon, you need to.
I don't know where this theory is coming from.
Nobody wins a league without being the better team at the end of the season. Nobody.
You do not need to be the best team to win the league.
Listen, you cannot win the league at the end of a 38 game without being the better team at the end of. You can't.
No,
so long as you win the league, automatically at the end of the season you were the better team.
No, we are speaking different languages.
No,
you need to listen to me clearly. I am saying that you have made comparisons between the various teams.
Yes.
And I am saying that Arsenal do not need to have a better team than City to win the league. I don't know how you process it, but Arsenal do not
you've changed your language.
No, this is what I've been saying all this while. You are speaking a different language. You have constantly spoken about the fact that Arsenal. No, hold on. You have constantly spoken about the fact that Arsenal needs to pit its strength against the various teams and realize that it does not have a better team than City, does not have a better team than Manchester United, does not have a better team than Liverpool. I am saying that Arsenal does not need to have a better team than Man City to win the league.
But would you agree that if Arsenal win the league at the end of the season,
let me tell you why.
If Arsenal win
that's a different language.
If Arsenal win the league, they would have been the better team.
No, we are not having that conversation. That's a different conversation altogether.
How?
And it does not fall in the context of the conversation.
That is what I am saying.
Let me.
I'm not talking about player comparison.
Nobody's talking about player comparison.
I'm looking at teams.
Let me make my point here.
Okay.
And my point is simple. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I am saying that Arsenal, yes, player for player might not have had a better quality than City.
Yeah.
But they played themselves into a position of strength.
That's true.
What do you think made Arteta come out with that declaration?
That I am not in Arteta's mind, so I can't tell.
No, you should be able to tell.
How can I tell what Arteta is thinking at the point he made a statement?
You cannot run away from this comment.
No, I can't.
I am saying that what do you think made Arteta come to that conclusion that the dressing room and himself think that they can win the league trophy?
I do not know. In Percy's own words, I do not know what he was drinking at the time or what he was smoking at the time.
If you do not know, then I'm sorry. But
because I cannot tell
if you do not know, then I'm sorry. Then
I cannot tell his state of mind.
But the point is simple.
Let's wrap up on the Arsenal.
The point is simple.
Yeah, wrap up on the
Arsenal. I think that when you've played yourself into a position of strength, like Arsenal, Arsenal were in that position where the results against City did not matter. Yeah. Even if they went to the Etihad and they were beaten heavily by City, they were at that point in that position where it wouldn't have mattered. They would have taken care of business by themselves.
True.
It didn't have to go down between themselves and City.
True.
Arsenal have lost the league not because they were beaten by City, but because they self-capitulated.
That's true.
So what are you saying?
And is that a problem in a marathon season where the tendency that you drop points is high? Is that an issue?
No, the best of teams and the best of teams which have the best psyches, which have the best mentalities, they get over the line even when the trouble is hardest.
Can we also argue that in the course of the season, Arsenal picked too early? And that
I do not want to go into that conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Arsenal picked too early, and now they are at the point of extinction point.
Well, I think that you belong to the theorists. You belong to the people who believe in all of those fairy tales and all of those
the discussion
theories.
myself and Kofi,
I don't believe in those
The discussion
theories.
we're having basically is, Kofi strongly believes that if the season ends and it happens that Arsenal do not win the league, which he believes that Arsenal won't win the league, Arsenal's season would have been a failed season completely and entirely. And even goes on to make, I think, a preposterous statement by saying Arteta should be fired. I strongly believe that, listen, it will be too premature for you to even say that Arsenal's season has been a failure, all because they lost the league to a superior team like Manchester City. Listen, this City team, it can literally eviscerate every team across Europe.
Wait till they meet
this City team, we sat here and people even thought that, oh, this Bayern team will rubbish them. Look at what they did to this Bayern team.
They meet Real Madrid.
So this City team is that good. I keep telling people that, listen, Manchester City have built themselves to a position where they are so good that even 97 points cannot win you the league. Ask Liverpool. 97 points in the history of the Premier League cannot win you the league. That should tell you how good this Manchester City team, this is the team Arsenal is trying to compete with. So for me, I think that let's not be too, for somebody who sets a standard for himself
so you believe
it's not a mediocre.
So you believe that if Arsenal had won the league, they would have been a better team than City.
If Arsenal had won the league, they would have been a better team than City. This
and
City
would have
team.
rubbished all of the things.
And would have rubbished this.
All of the things you're saying now, that in the last 5 years, City have built a team that can eviscerate
everybody.
So if Arsenal had won the league, they would have flawed this logic.
They would have flawed this logic.
I do not believe in the logic.
Because, guys, this is what I'm saying, you know. No team.
I absolutely don't believe in that logic.
No team can win a league. We are not talking about, I want to look into the camera. I'm not talking about a cup competition. For cup competition, there are a lot of dynamics. VAR decision can, derail you in one, what is it called? Home and away game.
We are talking about the Dortmund scenario. The referee potentially robbing them of the league title. You see, saying that if that happens and Bayern wins the league by a point, it would have meant that Bayern are the best.
It will not be because of that VAR decision.
Obviously, you know why? You cannot tell me that in a league season, other influences do not come in.
Exactly. Do you know why? Because in a league season, trust me, Dortmund would have also had the opportunity to have favors or decisions go in their favor. Because for 38 games, you do not tell me that there is no way you have decisions not go in your favor. Unlike a two-legged affair, just 1 or 2 games. Those are differences. Guys, what I'm saying here is that you do not play a 38 game and end up winning the league and you do not tell me that you are not the best team in the league.
No.
No team can win a league and eventually that team will say, oh, we were not even the best team. How is that possible for a 38 game? Listen, my point is, let's use the Leicester City analysis. When that season, when that season started, nobody expected Leicester City to win the league. But at the end of the season, the other teams kept falling off. They were the only team standing, clearly indicating that they were the best team in that season to be able to, overcome all the dynamics and win the league. That is my point, because Kofi, like I say, I'm saying, this is not a two-legged affair or a three-legged affair. 38 games. Charlie. That's why I'm saying that winning the league is very difficult. You do not go 38 games. And listen, they all started together. City started, United started, Liverpool, we all started together. But eventually, they kept falling. And they were left to what? Tottenham Hotspur and Leicester City. Eventually, Tottenham Hotspur also couldn't stand the heat. They fell short. Leicester City were the only team standing. So when they went ahead to win the league, clearly, if you are doing all the indices and the matrices, they were the best team or the better team at the end of the season. So that's why I'm saying that if Arsenal eventually wins this league, Arsenal would have rubbished that logic that City are the best team because Arsenal have won the league in the midst of all these dynamics.
No, your logic sought to suggest that City have built a team, and these are clearly your words.
Yes.
City have built a team that
can eviscerate, conquer almost every other team in Europe. That's true.
Yes. So if Arsenal had won this league,
yes,
it would have meant that Arsenal had a team.
Yes.
Per your logic.
Yes.
That can beat any other team in Europe.
Yes.
Okay, that's a beautiful logic. We'll move on.
Because
it's a beautiful logic. We'll move on.
Anyway,
we'll move on.
Let me read some few comments on this Arsenal issue. Then we quickly conclude with the topic, guys. More importantly, let's subscribe to the channel. It's very, very important. If you are new on this channel, and if you are joining us, please click the subscription button. And there are some people who are old folks, they are fans of the show, but they've not subscribed. Click on the subscription button. It's very, very important. Join the Sports 101 team, and please support us with the super stickers. You've been an amazing, supportive element to the vision of Sports 101. Keep supporting us with the super stickers. Let me take some few comments, then we continue with the discussion on the show. So interesting, very, very interesting. Let me see here. Kofi, so you can't say Arsenal winning the league makes them the better team than City. Flawed argument. It's flawed to think that the top 6 teams don't start the league hoping to win the league. Lucky, your point is mute. You can't keep defending an opinion and make it sound like fact. So Jessica, thank you so much for the super sticker. I feel Arteta can really compete in 5 years. So they all believe in the 5-year logic. This season is just a fluke. Arsenal bottled the league when they drew with Liverpool. Hey Kofi, I beg, allow Arsenal to keep their Arteta. So Elphimis also supports us with amazing super stickers there. Thank you so much. Okay? So let me see if I can get these comments. Kofi, maybe you can read the comment because my internet is messing up. But what do you make of the discussion that we are having right now? Would Arsenal have bottled the league if would Arsenal's season be a complete failure in Kofi's logic? Because 1, they had the opportunity to win the league and they let it slip. 2, they had shown that they could literally push all other teams behind them, and they didn't. So Arsenal's season would have been a failed season. What do you think? Would Arsenal's season have been a complete failure, or you think that Arsenal should be okay where they are?
Well, I think that we ran a poll on whether people think that our viewers think that there's a way back for Arsenal in the EPL.
Yeah.
76% of them think no, it's done, it's finished.
So there's the 24% believe that we can do
Yes,
something.
24 believe that there's still a room.
Guys, we can still do
those are
something.
the blind Judases. You understand? They
For me,
still
I'm
believe
actually
that.
fighting my own cause because of my hair.
Well, and PHEX says the Lucky is just repeating opinions as facts, and I agree perfectly. PHA also says that City are a team that can beat any team in Europe. Arsenal cannot be described as such, even if they win the league. So that whole thing about the best team winning the league, I think that please allow me to read the
Oh no,
comment.
I'm not even. I'll not even speak on this again. I've made my point clear.
I think that somebody also goes ahead to say Neil Atip believes that Poch is a very good coach. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the super stickers, and we probably would have to launch deep into some of the things that are happening in basketball now.
Before we talk about basketball, so something interesting happened over the course of the week, and we'll probably we would need to address that issue. So nominees for the Premier League Player of the Season came out, and these are the goalkeepers. Kofi, listen clearly. So there's Nick Pope from Newcastle, there's Aaron Ramsdale from Arsenal, there's Alisson from Liverpool, there's Bernard Leno from Fulham, there's Kepa of Chelsea. Interesting there. The defenders are Gabriel from Arsenal, Saliba from Arsenal, Kieran Trippier from Newcastle, Botman from Newcastle, Zinchenko from Arsenal, Thiago Silva from Chelsea, Lisandro Martinez from United, Ben May from Brentford.
Can we go over the list one by one and discuss it?
So what I'm trying to say is there've been a lot of controversial issues in relation to this list.
Well, is it the proper list? Or
Yes,
there's
that's
another proper list.
No, this is the final. This is the final nominees.
It's a rubbish list.
This is the final because there's no Bruno Fernandes in there.
It is a rubbish.
But there is Rodrigo Bentancur.
Let's look at the goalkeepers.
Okay, the goalkeepers. There's Nick Pope. There's Nick Pope. You think he deserves to be in there?
Well, I think Nick Pope has the second highest clean sheet.
That's true for Newcastle.
So
there's Aaron Ramsdale.
Ramsdale has been absolutely
superb for Arsenal. There's Alisson of Liverpool.
What has he done?
I also agree he shouldn't be in there.
What has he done to be in there? That's why I said that when some of these indexes are raised, I mean, they need to give us a citation.
Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
So
he's not even the best goalkeeper at Chelsea.
That's true. He's competing with if the Senegalese goalkeeper had not gotten injured, he'd probably be. But there are notable absentees, and there's no Bruno Fernandes.
That's fine.
But there's Rodrigo Bentancur.
Well, I believe that maybe they'll produce another list. I don't believe that this is the list.
This is actually the final list for the nominees. So out of this list, the first 11 will be chosen.
This is a rubbish list.
I agree with you. I do not think that is a list because, listen, Partey may have started having a poor run of games with Arsenal.
Bentancur.
But Partey throughout this season has been one of the standout central midfield players in the league. If you can have Rodrigo Bentancur, who is not even commanding first team place at Tottenham Hotspur, be in this list, why not Thomas Partey? Why not Bruno Fernandes? So I agree with you. This list is flawed. Maybe next week we can explore that further. But Kofi, let's quickly switch to basketball before we check out. So we know the playoffs have started. Some teams are playing the second round, which arguably more or less is like the semi-finals. Some teams are trying to wrap up their last 7-game series, like the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. Let's look at, my first question is, which series has been the most interesting series so far?
Well, I think one of the most interesting series has been the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings.
I agree with you.
I think it's been absolutely amazing. Some people wanted us to talk about this list that
So we should go back to the list. I don't have a problem going back to the list. I don't have a problem going back to the list at all.
We can look at the list and probably later in the week we can have a proper look at that list. Maybe one of the Saturday shows or one of the other shows. I mean, But I think that you look at the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, it's been absolutely rollicking. And for me, there's been a lot of surprises. You look at the two number 7 seeds. You know, in the history of the NBA, never has a number 7 seed eliminated a number 2 seed. And it's happened twice this offseason. The Miami Heat beating the Milwaukee Bucks, you understand? And you know, interestingly, the two number 7 seeds had to come from a playing tournament. So the Miami Heat beating the Milwaukee Bucks in the manner they did. And then the LA Lakers beating the Memphis Grizzlies, also in the manner that they did. And I think it's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, anybody who watched the Lakers and the Grizzlies, so they would realize that in that particular game 6, where the Lakers had to blow away the Memphis Grizzlies by 125 points to 85 points, it was hinged on solid defense, and it was led by the commander-in-chief at the back, Anthony Davis and his guys, Hachimura, LeBron James, all putting shifts in, Vanderbilt, all putting shifts in there, and they were absolutely amazing. But I think that, I mean, we are in the running for a game 7 even tonight. As you speak, it's dead even at 51 points each between the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. It's been an amazing offseason, and we speak about the fact that there have been a lot of characters. Tomorrow, we get to see another potentially mouth-watering series between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, two superstars. You have Joel Embiid and James Harden going up against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and all of the supporting cast at Boston. I think that could be amazing. And last night we had the Phoenix Suns, come up against the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are so disrespected. I have not seen a number 1 seed that is so disrespected like the Denver Nuggets.
You actually are one of those people who disrespected them. When I was waxing lyrical about the Denver Nuggets.
If you look at the Denver Nuggets, if you look at the quality in their roster, they have a 2-time MVP in Jokic.
So why did you disregard
You have Jamal Murray, you have my good friend Kentavious Caldwell Pope. You understand? There's I think there's Otto Porter Jr. And all of those are the wonderful guys on that roster. I think that they are not one of those fanciful teams, and maybe a lot of people have disrespected them because of their potential turnout in the past. You understand? They have come in with a lot of promise but have bottled it when it matters most. But it looks like silently and quietly they are going about their business very well. Last night they very much handled and cut to size the Phoenix Suns. You have been one of the people who thinks that any team with a Kevin Durant should be in the shouts for a Western Conference Finals or should be in the NBA Finals. I think that it's been a wonderful postseason, and long may it continue.
Which series has disappointed you the most?
Well, I think the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat, with all of the talents that the Milwaukee Bucks do have. Listen, there's Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's Chris Middleton, there's Drew Holiday and Drew Holiday. There's my good friend who are twins. Brook Lopez. You understand? And all of those wonderful Bobby Portis and all of those wonderful guys on the roster of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they very much disappointed me because the Miami Heat, yes, they might be coached by Eric Spoelstra all the time, but they are not the team that they used to be, and they have had a lot of injuries. You understand? I mean, to major players.
Victor Oladipo
is out for the rest of the postseason, and then you have somebody like Robinson, who is a prolific 3-point shooter, drifts in and out of the team, and then they've had to Bam Adebayo has not been himself. He's not been the player
he's used to be.
He's not the player he used to be, and they've had to fuel all of the offense through Jimmy Butler. I think that it's been very disappointing. From the Milwaukee Bucks. They have disappointed me very much. But this is the playoff. I mean, you lose focus, you lose intensity. And remember, I mean, for a guy like Pat Beverly, no, did I say Pat Riley,
Yeah.
the chief executive of the Miami
the
Heat,
Miami Heat.
and Eric
Amazing man.
Spoelstra.
The guy knows his
Yes, I
basketball.
mean, he's been around for 40 plus
Yeah.
years. I mean, he was a player. He's been a player manager. He's been a front desk executive. He's been a coach.
Yes.
They run the Miami system very well. They run the agency very well. And so I think that has been quite disappointing. But you cannot underestimate the Miami Heat.
But would you also agree that the absence of Giannis in those 2 games, when Giannis came back, he wasn't fit. I mean, the report came out that he played through those 2 games with back injury. They knew that their season would be over, and they had to do something. So they had to literally force Giannis to come and play. He was out for 2 games. He came back unfit. The absence of arguably the best player on the team contributed to their losing to
Well, I don't
to the
believe
Miami
I
Heat.
don't believe in that theory. I don't actually believe in that theory because I think that which NBA superstar plays healthy? All of them are on medication. All of them. LeBron James is
There's some players
dealing
who have not been injured
well,
this
LeBron
season.
James is dealing with a plethora of issues. I mean, listen, even before the series began, Anthony Davis had an issue with his hip. He has had issues with his thumb, with his feet. He's had 24 all-round treatment, 24 hours all-round treatment. So nobody's fit. It's down to the player turning up and then doing what he's getting paid for doing.
Do you agree with the statement Giannis made? Let's spend like some 2 minutes looking at that statement. The journalist posed the question that would Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks front office consider this season a failed season? Giannis tells him that, listen, every season is a process. Basketball is a process. And yes, they may have, not been able to make it to the next round of the playoffs. But then he cited a weird example. Jordan played in the league for, was that how many years? 16 years? 15 years? 9 years out of those 15 years, he didn't achieve anything. That's true. He only went to the final 6 times, and in all those periods, he won the championship 6 times. But yet, he's seen as the greatest basketball player. If you look at that statement, he makes perfect sense. But can that statement be right in the context with which the journalist posed that question, that does he consider their season a failed season, not being able to make it past a team that qualified through the play-in tournament, facing the best team in the West? The East. Giannis,
well, I think that
was he right?
Well, I think Giannis is an absolute hype. I've never believed in his level of
why
skill.
are you attacking the guy's we know you don't like him. You believe he's huge. He just drives to the paint. Boom. He doesn't have enough skill to be compared to other players. Every basketball is carved uniquely in its own right. We've hailed the likes of the guy who formerly of the Indiana Pacers, who had a record for the most 3-pointer, Reggie Miller. Take away Reggie Miller's ability to shoot the ball from the 3-point. He really didn't have anything extraordinary. Basketball is carved. There's very few players who can do a lot.
Like LeBron.
Even the great MJ was not an all-round basketball player. Very few players are all-round basketball players. You need to look at your strength and play to your strength.
Well, I
so
think that
do not say he's a high because he's playing to his strength.
I think that it's not just myself who believes that. James Harden also believes that.
Come on, there are players like James Harden who shouldn't even be. James Harden shouldn't even be talking about other players, because who is one of the greatest? Disappointment. The greatest disappointment in the history of basketball is that guy.
James Harden will go down as one of the best players ever.
So much talent. For me, I consider him as a shooting juggernaut. The guy is one of the best shooters, one of the best point guards, one of the best shooting guards, if he decides to play those roles. But when it comes to crunch, James Harden always disappoints. He is talking about somebody.
Let me tell you something.
God.
James Harden is one of those basketball players who has the skill set for everything.
What has he been able to do with it?
Everything.
What has he been able to do with it? He's talking about Giannis.
Everything. I mean,
if LeBron comes out to talk about Giannis, I will have a problem.
We talk about Charles Barkley. We talk about all of those other.
There are certain people who have become pundits that shouldn't even talk about Kendrick Perkins. Charles Barkley. These two guys shouldn't even be berating other players.
But
because,
Charles Barkley was an excellent player.
Oh, please. As excellent as you are, that Phoenix Suns team that he couldn't win a championship with them, he should check himself. Look at somebody like Kendrick Perkins.
Let me ask you a
Sits
question.
on TV to criticize players like Giannis who have won MVPs, who have won championship. Kendrick Perkins.
Let me ask you something.
Even in that Spurs a Celtic team.
If Chris Paul
Yeah.
does not go ahead to win a ring,
Yeah.
and it's looking like won't
Yeah.
win a ring.
Don't say it won't, because the Suns, I believe, will come out of this
Because
series.
I think that the Nuggets will give them too much to chew.
That would be an interesting series
If
if
Chris
he doesn't
Paul
win a league. Yeah.
does not win a ring,
Sorry.
do you think he would have earned the right to criticize other players?
There are certain now. Let me. I will answer this with ease. Chris Paul, one, is a better leader, a better basketball
The
player.
leader who always bottles.
I'm coming. Is a better leader.
The leader
a better basketball player than Charles Barkley.
Let me put it in context.
Yeah.
Game 7.
Yeah.
Against the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Best team in the
West.
league, not just in the West.
Yeah.
Game 7
Yeah.
against the Dallas Mavericks on your home court. Half time, you are losing by 40 points, led by Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Can you continue?
Yep. These things happen. So it happens in one. These are one of Chris Paul. This is arguably about how many times has Chris Paul made the finals in the Western Conference?
I don't care. He's not made the finals because he's never been good enough.
No, it's not like he's not been good enough. I think that issue surrounding the Lakers, you know that issue. You know he almost got traded to the Lakers.
We don't deal with almost.
If Chris Paul had been traded to the Lakers, Chris Paul, Kobe, baby, it would have been the most sweetest.
Well, I think that you like to dabble in fairy tales. You like to deal with the issues.
But let me address the issue. I think that before we check out of the issue, I think that there are certain players who have earned the right to critique certain players. Listen, one, Chris Paul is highly regarded as one of the top brains in basketball, together with Steve Nash. Even though Steve Nash has failed as a coach in a way handling the Brooklyn Nets, yet still Steve Nash is regarded so much in basketball circles that when he speaks, people will listen to him. Kendrick Perkins can sit on TV, criticize Giannis Antetokounmpo. You can Pedro what's his name? Pinto of Barcelona won a Champions League, but nobody cares. You can be part of a team and win a league, but nobody recognizes you. No, if you are talking about that Boston Celtics team that had the truth, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, nobody will mention Kendrick Perkins. Even as a role player, he wasn't even regarded.
Kevin Garnett.
Oh, okay. Let's not even go there. That
me,
statement. Let's wrap up with the statement.
For me,
don't look at the personality.
Giannis got it all wrong.
He got it all wrong.
He needs to own up for his failures.
You think it was a failed season?
And I think that it was just like Arsenal, it was a failed season. Please, if you're watching, keep subscribing, just like Arsenal. And if you do not know the Milwaukee Bucks, please go and read about them. They bottled the season just like Arsenal are about to. And please keep subscribing, keep playing the old videos, keep sharing, keep commenting, and keep sending those super stickers. Thank you so much for being part of this project. And as always, we have broadcasted live on YouTube, and then with our partners, 99.1 FM. Very soon we'll come up with an exclusive package on 99.1 FM.
We have 4 minutes to go.
And then listeners and viewers should take note. I mean, for our viewers who have not gotten the opportunity, listeners, who have not gotten the opportunity to speak to us directly, we are working on something that can let you interact with us in real time. Real time. So please be on the lookout for that, and very soon we will announce the package to you. But I think it's been a wonderful evening. And before we go, I prophesy.
So, that's where I'm going. Kings and Golden State Warriors.
That's why you took the prophecy out of my mouth.
Who wins?
I am prophesying. That the Kings will
go past the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, they'll beat them.
They
are already losing by 2 points at halftime.
Okay.
That's not even
the Kings will go past the Warriors.
That's not even beyond the point.
Okay.
Fourth quarter, Mr. Clutch will show up.
Okay.
De'Aaron
De'Aaron
Fox will show up, and Sabonis will be a hero tonight.
The New York Knicks against what is it called? The Miami Heat. Who goes through in
Well, I think Miami will go through over the 7 series. Miami are tough psychologically.
Boston Celtic coming up against
Boston.
It's one of the series I'm personally looking up to. The Boston Celtics. I'm hoping that
Jason Tento.
I'm hoping that Joel Embiid will be fit. I'm hoping that James Harden will be fit. It's a series I will not miss a single game.
Boston
Who will go through?
Boston will win this with ease.
Wow.
Not because Boston because of their role players. Brogdon.
What's his name?
You understand?
Brogdon. He was drafted from the Miami Heat.
Brogdon.
Yeah.
And all that supporting
Marcus Smart and all these guys.
Oh, come on. I mean, Boston are going to go through. Boston are going to go through. They are NBA
So
heritage.
you're potentially looking at in the Eastern Conference final, the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat.
I think it could be a repeat of what we saw last season.
So in the Western Conference final, which two teams you think will make the final? The Lakers and who? For you, everybody knows you're a Lakers fan. You're tipping the Lakers. The Lakers
and the Nuggets.
The Lakers and the Nuggets.
Yes.
Wow. So we'll be playing around.
And we'll get to see a Lakers and the Celtic in the NBA final.
That will be a basketball royalty because these two teams have been the major rivals in basketball. But guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. We love your support. Those who have been with us from day one. Those who came in with super stickers. We appreciate your support and we appreciate your contribution. I did the show with my ever interesting companion on the show, Kofi Asiedu. We are live on Tadi FM 99.1. We come your way next week Saturday mornings 8:30 to 10 o'clock with our sports breakfast. Then on Sunday 7 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Thank you so much for being with us and hopefully we'll see you again next week.